We've made it down to Ecuador now after we left Colombia, down in Ron and Lupe's territory. I think this is Guayaquil probably, because we went from Bogota to Peru, didn't have passports and they wouldn't let us in, so we had to stay all night, and then we went to Guayaquil, which is a coastal town. They ship a lot of bananas, fruits out of here. More churches, all kinds of churches down here. This little boy now will play this stringed instrument. Now, Jim and Elizabeth Oswald had a foster child down here, so we've made arrangements with the Foster Children's Organization to go see where they live and if she was getting any of that money that they were sending her each week. And these people love to have their picture taken. And this was down in the area where she lives. Here's the foster care center, and Lorraine with the lady that took us around down there in this car here. These little kids there, you could just see the top of his head wanted to get in the picture. So he was even jumping up and down to try to get in the picture. So I accommodated he and his brother and took their pictures. This is one of the main streets downtown in Guayaquil. Artists down there snapping your picture like they did in the olden days here. And this little pool here is right on the bay down there where the ships come in. Now this fellow's drinking water out there, and a minute ago there was a woman washing clothes over on the other side of the same pool. This fellow here is doing what comes naturally. He had to go. That's the place where he's going. Now these are bananas, green bananas, loaded up to being shipped to the States and to other countries. You want to see the load they have on their back when they're bringing them in there. Everything's done by manpower and muscle. Coconut husk and debris on the beach down there. It's nothing they can use, so they just let it pile up. They're building a raft down here, you'll see in a minute. There's one of their dugout canoes with a outboard on it. Behind it, an ice ship. Any way to get there. Horses, mules, by foot, cars, buses, anything. Then here's a bunch. I believe this is down by a university. I'm not sure. Anyhow, they put these paintings on to make the wall look better than it would just being bare concrete. This is a German section of town. One of their old German castle constructed buildings. There were a lot of Germans here 300 or 400 years ago. They have a Jewish section of town, a German section of town, and the regular inhabitants section of town. They're building a raft out here to float some stuff somewhere. That's the cheapest way to do it. Just tie the logs together and make a raft instead of having a tugboat. tie them together with some rope, and away they go. Now here's a traffic post. You'll notice on top, I don't know if you can see it, it's got a Coca-Cola sign on top of his awning. We stayed right above this corner at a hotel like we did down in Caracas. We're just across the corner to the left there. Now the cemeteries down there are something different to see. This is a cemetery for the people with money. Each one of those cubby holes has a body in it, and they pay rent for them. If they don't pay the rent, they're taken out of there and put somewhere else. They keep fresh flowers in there quite often, pictures of them, pictures of the family. As I said, this is the richer part of the cemetery itself, where the people have the money to really keep things up nice. This is probably a real expensive one, with the person kneeling there praying at the casket, and the gold hands on this black cross here. Now here's the poorer section of the cemetery itself, where you don't have the money to do it. They're buried almost touching each other. Some of them are just tree limbs nailed together to make a cross. Some of them have a decent looking cross. See how close they are together? Then we went up the top of a place to a hotel. They had a small zoo there, and these tulicans don't seem to bother many. If you scratch their head and feel their bill and so forth, they like a little attention. We stopped in some little towns on the way across country. They're having a parade here for something. I don't know what, but one of their holy days or something. Then we stopped at every little town and looked at the market. 1 or 2 days a week they have market, and they carry them in on their backs any way they can get them in there to sell their merchandise. Here's a fellow bringing stuff in. Every town has a little square in the center of it where all the main activities take place. Then we went out in the country to a place to see these pools. People really go crazy to swim. On the way out, we asked a man how to get there, and he pointed the wrong way. Lupe says, well, I don't think that's right, so we asked another one that was back in the opposite direction. They'll give you an answer whether it's right or wrong, but they won't admit they don't know. This is some scenery of the countryside where we stopped along the highway. Now we're at the equator. This monument is exactly on the equator. Lorene has to talk to a little donkey here, see what he thinks about it. No matter what you do here, the kids and the people stand around and watch you. If I'd light my pipe, they'd stand around and watch. Change a tire, they all stand around and watch. Up here in a minute, they're going to be bartering. You notice a man is riding on the donkey, but the woman was herding the cattle along. He wasn't going to get down there and do that hard work. Now Lorene's bartering for some necklace. See the kids hanging around to watch, see what's going on. Lupe's telling her how to do it. You don't take the first price. That'll be too high. There's a highway going out of where the monument of the equator was. Now this is a German Everything north of this line, this is the equator, that white line. Everything north of it have plants and things that are grown north of the equator. Everything south is south of the equator. We stopped to watch this farmer plowing. He's got an old crooked stick of some kind and a couple of milk cattle pulling it. Then he can go home at night and milk them too. And these little kids are quite interested in us, so I took a Polaroid picture of them, gave it to them. Ron is showing it to them now, and boy, they took that thing and took off for the house. They probably never had anything like that. This is the main market down in Guayaquil. Butch was so sick down there from the smell that there he is leaned against a post. He went along to be best man at the wedding. He had a temperature so bad that he was almost out of his mind before we got through, because the smell in that place is terrible. And just outside of Quito was a tracking station. All there was guarding it was an open gate and a llama standing there, and they let us right in, which you couldn't do here. And we asked the fellow, how come there were no guards? He says, if they had guards here, they think it's something secret, so anyone can go in there and they don't pay any attention to it then. This is off the highway now, the mountains around coming into Quito. We stopped to look around up there. This wooden bridge goes across to the other side of this gorge up here. It doesn't look too trustworthy, but we made it across there all right. You don't drive this road where we are now after afternoon sometime, because the fog sets in, you can't see, and there's apt to be boulders on the highway. There's the old thatched roofed bridge going across. Now we made it down to Santo Domingo. There's Rosa and Ron's living quarters in there. He had a pet ocelot, some other weird animals down there. This Rancho Ronald is their Peace Corps headquarters out there. Ronald has nothing to do with Ronald Smith. That just happened to be the name of it. These are the grounds out there. They have a lot of Brahmas out there. Their barnyard. That's right below their Peace Corps headquarters. There, it's time to eat. They're all coming down the hill. They know when chow is served. He's going to stop and get a bite to eat on the way down. They get sunburned. They have to put lotion on them due to the hot sun. These are banana plants. The chiquitas are different than the other bananas. They're low enough so that you can stand on the ground and pick them. The other ones you have to get a ladder to get up in the air. And to ripen, they put a plastic bag over them, let them ripen inside of the plastic bag. I believe we're going down into the banana place now. One of their jungle stores back there. This bridge, the Germans have Peace Corps too, and this bridge was built by the German Peace Corps workers. And when we met one of them, Ron couldn't speak German, the German couldn't speak English, but they could both speak Spanish, so they could talk to each other. There's a way to move your furniture. We decided to go swimming out at this place. I believe this is a place where we went swimming. Had no wooden building we could change our clothes in. Women are out there doing their laundry. They wash their cars, they do everything in the streams around there. Butch is really feeling sad there and sick. There we're down in banana territory again. There's a bunch of the bananas they picked, ready to be taken out of the plantation. Now we're down here swimming. This film got screwed up a little bit right here because the bulb on a projector burned out, and I had to replace it so they won't come out exactly like it was supposed to. This horse got away on the other side of the stream, so this fella got hold of it. Got a rope around his neck. I'll show you everyone that goes swimming there. Watch this little pig. There, he thought he's died and gone to heaven. Now we're out in the banana plantation. Ron's paying homage to the Chiquita bananas. You can see the plastic bag on the outside of them, so they'll ripen. There he goes again, offering prayers. Here's a banana processing place. They gave Lorene this hand of bananas there. They get about 25 cents for the whole bunch of bananas, the whole big long one. Now we're on Calvachi's, Ron's in-laws' back porch. That's our living quarters right there in the middle, back in that room. Here's Ron's pet ocelot that he had there in the Peace Corps. He had to leave it down there when he came up. He's a friendly little bugger. And there's old Leela, the dog. She's down in Champaign now, a lot older than she was. Leela and the ocelot there together. This is the steps to their Peace Corps headquarters. Now this is taken from the balcony of the Calvachi's house to the street right in front of their house. There's a magazine store over there. The meat market right there is out of meat today, so they put their awning down. There's the Zenith TV place. This is Colorados Indian. They're the flower children of Ecuador. That red stuff on their head is smashed up from a red berry, and they put it on, let it dry, and it's just like plastic. There's Mr. Calvachi, Ron's father-in-law, waving at us. And here's a bank building on the corner. Mr. Calvachi owns that, along with a shoe store and the liquor distributor store just down the street. They say now this street has all been paved, but it wasn't at the time we were there. The town was built right out in a clearing in the jungle originally. There's the medicine man over there with his wife and some of the kids. And here's the church where Ron and Lupe were married. You see, the upper part isn't done, so we had to go through a barber shop down to the basement where the wedding was performed. One of their local buses bringing stuff in, and here's the cheaper bus for the people that live there. If this medicine man or any of these Colorados hears the camera click, they want some money for having their picture taken. So I took this off the top of Calvachi's bank building. There's one of them. They usually carry a machete to do work with and wear those knee boots and that red hair and mini skirts. This is the main street of Santo Domingo de los Colorados right here. I think we had better accommodations in the Calvachi's house than we would have had over there in the hotel. There's a view from the top of one of his buildings. Of the green is their apartment. Now they've made several apartments out of the place there. This is the way we get there. Again, push and pull. Here is Ronald's wedding at the Calvachi house, with a Catholic father there in a minute. The whole family, Lupe and Ron and so forth. This is reception after the wedding, actually. There's little Rosie running around getting things the way they should be. The whole family. There's the father that performed the ceremony, having a tall one. You see Colorado's Indians across the street on the balcony. They'd like to get over to it, but they weren't invited. You'll see them in a minute on here. There they are. They just love to come over to the wedding and reception. And that ends our 1968 trip to South America and Ronald's wedding.